speaking to everyone present. I, Kumari Kancharai, going to give my presentation on the topic which have been assigned to me. That is on the leading case related to the Supreme Court of India, that is known as Fortico Marketing and Investment versus Central Bureau of Investigation. That case was decided on 17th of November 2020. This case was before Honorable Apex Court of India under Article 134 of Indian Constitution. It means that it was a criminal appeal. It was an appeal against the new policy made by the Coal India Limited, and that policy was challenged because somewhere it was giving power to the Central Bureau of Investigation to check or investigation over the companies or factories, which was some or the other way extending the jurisdiction, and it was on the matter of error of jurisdiction of Central Bureau of Investigation. So this is assignment which I am going to present over here. So before proceeding, we know that the democracy lies into the constitution. The formal democracy of any state must be written into its written document, that is constitution. We exercise physical democracy by this means of citizens, but there is a formal democracy, substantive democracy exists in the constitution. So to exercise this substantive democracy, one need to have constitutionalism, one need to have a sense of knowledge that how the different principles enshrined in Indian Constitution should be availed while formulating any policy. The matter was related with the jurisdiction of CBI, as well as several other matters was also there, but the leading and main factor was it. So this assignment has been assigned to me under the subject which is known as federalism union state relationship. So dealing with it, India is a federal country, we know, and having constitutional democracy is one of the biggest achievement which we have. The power of state and center are clearly demarcated under Schedule 7 of Indian Constitution in the form of union, state and concurrent list, list 1, list 2 and list 3. Powers are clearly demarcated as per Article 245 of Indian Constitution, 246 of Indian Constitution, but 248 of Indian Constitution provide residuary power to the center. So there is no clear-cut demarcation which can say that India is an absolute federal country. There is a cooperative federalism, but there is also overlapping of the overlapping situations are also there. What happened into the case? I would just move forward towards the brief introduction about CBI. Central Bureau of Investigation was created under the act which is known as Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. In that act, CBI is having power to act in prevention of corruption. So it can act under the Prevention of Corruption Act, as well as different acts has also taken the reference of Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. In this case, the CBI is an autonomous body which it's a central agency which works into entire nation. It's not restricted to the center only. It can have power of investigation to the territory of India, but there are certain limitations and conditions which are imposed over it, and these limitations and conditions are in the form of permission, approval from the particular instrumentality of the state and the state government or central government. That permission or the approval is somewhat which is a check over the working style of union, because CBI is a union agency, central agency. Now, what is the facts of this case? The facts of this case is as it is that a new policy was formulated by Coal India Limited on 18th of October 2007. And that policy was related to it that any company who is going to purchase coal have to come under an agreement known as fuel supply agreement. After this policy, CBI surprisingly raided to several companies, and one of the premise was of Fortico Marketing and Investment Private Limited. It found that there is a black marketing of coal. Coal are getting sold on into the black market, or CBI found that there is a embezzlement of unknown government officials, resulting into a loss of 36.28 crore to the central government. The petitioner, that is Fortico Marketing Investment Private Limited, registered small scale industry involved in manufacturing special smokeless fuel using coal obtained from coal mine projects of Northern Coal Field Limited over subsidized rate. CBI in the point surprise check conducted on 25th of March 2011 noticed that the factory was not in operational condition, and there in a factory there was one electric generator of 125 kilowatt which was found installed in the factory. Even there was not any power connection with their factory, meaning thereby that factory was not working in working condition, but it was found that there is certain embezzlements, and the quality of the coal which was checked into the laboratory was found of different quality. So the clear-cut demarcation and clear-cut indication was that there is a corruption into this matter, and hence CBI got power to investigate the matter under Prevention of Corruption Act. Section 5 and Section 6 of this act was challenged because it was some or the other way providing power to the CBI to investigate or prosecute a person with the prior approval or consent of the state government where which the particular unknown officials were working. So numerous appeal were filed, and all the appeals were clubbed because they were having similar matter regarding it. So it was clubbed and made into the one head, that is Fortico Marketing Investment Limited Private Limited versus CBI. Now the Supreme Court framed several issues, and 4 leading issues were made. I would be discussing on first issue because it is going to cover my subject, that is federalism. First issue which was framed was that whether the investigation conducted by CBI in these cases is illegal and without jurisdiction due to non-compliance with Section 6 of DSPE, that is Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. If so, what is the effect of this non-compliance? I would like to add on one thing, that this appeal, criminal appeal, was against the judgment given by Allahabad High Court. So this criminal appeal was, and it was related to the interpretation of particular act. So Supreme Court, after deciding first issue, it again send it back to the single judge bench of the Allahabad High Court and said that all other issues, that is issue 2, 3 and 4, will be decided by that single judge bench on the merit. The Supreme Court is not deciding on merit, it is just interpreting the matter which has come into a light related to the DSPE Act. Now, analysis. I am analyzing this case in light of my subject, that is federalism, union and state relations. Therefore, I will probably or primarily analyze the first issue, which was the most inclined towards the federal character of the state. In this case, the High Court was tasked with determining the legality and jurisdiction of CBI regarding investigation in relation to cases involving the alleged black marketing of coal. The court framed 4 questions of determination, which I already quoted above. First question was asked whether CBI's investigation was illegal and without jurisdiction due to non-compliance of Section 6. So this learned single judge bench, this single judge disagreed with her previous ruling and concluded that the investigation conducted by the CBI was without the permission or consent of UP Uttar Pradesh government, which he considered a breach of mandatory provision of Section 6 of DSPE Act. Section 5 of DSPE Act enables the central government to extend the powers and jurisdiction of members of DSPE beyond the union territory to a state subject to the state's consent under Section 6. So 5 में central government is providing power to the agency, that is CBI, to investigate into the territory of India other than union territory also, but subject to the prior permission from that particular state in which it's going to enter for the investigation. The court found no merit into the appeal filed by the private individuals. Why? Because the private officials against whom the permission is required must be the government official. It's not applicable over the private individual. If CBI want to prosecute any private person, that there is no need to take sanction or approval from that particular state government. So if cognizance is taken on a police report vitiated by the breach of mandatory provision relating to investigation, the result of trial can't be set aside unless the illegality in the investigation has resulted in a miscarriage of justice. The court held that legality of investigation may have bearing on question of prejudice or miscarriage of justice, but it does not affect the competence of the court. And court made it clear that High Court erred in setting aside the order of learned special judge taking cognizance of offence and questioning further proceeding of the case. The court rejected the contention that investigation against an officer employed in territory of Bihar can't be permitted unless there was a specific consent under Section 6 of DSPE Act. So these are the main analysis which I would like to put forward. The summary of the High Court determined that CBI's investigation was not illegal due to the post facto consent, because CBI had already taken consent of state government post facto, and that's why all the prosecutions and investigation after that consent was declared valid and legal. That's why the question was determined, and it was sent to the single judge bench again to decide on the merit. Argument was presented by Mukul Rohatgi by saying that this act is applicable without the consent which was given post facto was not a valid consent. You have to, when you are entering into the investigation, you have to take another permission. When you are entering into prosecution, you have to take permission from the state government. But the court had made it clear that if post facto consent which was taken by CBI is a valid consent to proceed further for the investigation or prosecution. So entire contention was declared null and void, which was raised by the Mukul Rohatgi. And now the judgment was that that cognizance and the trial conducted can't be set aside unless the illegality in the investigation can be shown to have brought about miscarriage of justice. It had been held that the illegality may have bearing on the question of prejudice or miscarriage of justice, but the invalidity of investigation has no relation to the competency of the court. So a special judge which had started investigating or started deciding the matter related to the prevention of corruption was having power, and his working and his competence, that court's competence, could not be challenged mere on the basis of invalidity in investigation. So it was the analysis which is made by me. So I would like to connect this with federal structure, that we are having autonomous bodies in the form of a state or units in the form of a state. These states are having their own autonomous power, and these powers are granted as per the constitution. So center is not having that much capable to interfere until and unless there is a special circumstances exist. For example, emergency, for example, disturbance, internal disturbance, for example, when the state has given consent to make any law on their subject matter. So if a central agency is interfering into the working of any state government or state government's employee, then there is a requirement to take prior permission from that particular state, so that the autonomous nature of that particular unit could be maintained, separation of power can be seen, and federalism can work along with constitutionalism. So here I rest my analysis. Thank you so much.